So, Aloth. Let's start you with a blind. You will need to get a little bit closer for that, though. So we'll get a bit closer to Mordred too. You're going to start being spotted? Yes. Rather quickly too. Alright, Mordred. No, Aloth. Let's drop that on you. Actually, let's drop it a bit further back, just in case the bear does wake up. We'll drop it about there. And then you... I'm going to hit him with a ray of fire. A second after the that's dropped. Ooh, no. Not doing that one again. That was silly.
Help.
You did get the bear. Good. Don't need to do the corrosion. I think I'm just going to blast you. And just in case, because we are fighting a bear here, I'm going to put this shield up. There we go. Actually, let's just both of us do this spell. We have no survivability, but we do ridiculous damage. Nice. Okay.
Yes?
Victory is ours. Huzzah! What's up with him? Oh, I can speak to his spirit. It's going to tell me that he was murdered, isn't it? Pretty sure. Lost spirit, a figure drifts, suspended in the musty air of the cavern. Its forms and features blur and twist in the cascading ripples of incandescence. You feel its energy eddying about your limbs, filling them with a heavy chill. You reach out a hand for the spirit. In the moment of contact, you feel like you've been struck a blow, head reeling as you tumble, helplessly, into waiting darkness. Light blooms at the edges of your vision. You feel the sun at your back and the weight of a bow in your hand. You know, suddenly, that you've come a long way for the Vale, hunting deer. Now you are standing before a cavern, and the darkness extends far into its depths. Even so, your friend strides out before you, his red cloak flapping at his heels. You follow, heart hammering in your chest as he leads you deeper into the cavern. There is a roar like thunder echoing around you. Fear seizes you. Casts you, stumbling back towards the exit, towards light and escape. You see the glint of steel, and there is a sudden, terrible flash of agony behind your knee. You scream, stumble, and fall. Your thoughts are chaos, lanced through with pain, but in a moment of terrible clarity you see your friend look back from the mouth of the cavern, his dagger daubed in crimson to match his cloak. And then there is a great, dark shape above you, and then there is more pain. The vision recedes, and you are thrown back into yourself with seemingly resentful force. The corpse lies at your feet. The spectre lingers. In the span of energy between you both, you feel a sense of questioning, of confusion, of anger. I met him on the road, your friend. The sudden lashing anger emanates from the spirit. Rage and grief seem to pour from the gleaming figure like smoke. I'll find him and see that he answers for what he has done to you. For a moment, the spirit seems to burn bright, and your head fills with a sickly triumph. The spirit seems to weaken with the force of its own exaltation, growing fainter and fainter, until you're alone once more. Aloth looks at you through narrowed eyes. Are you all right? You seemed lost just now. This happens a lot. You'll have to get used to it. He folds his arms. That's good to know, but I don't suppose you could tell me what that was all about. I'm not really sure. It's just started happening. I think so, yes. He raises an eyebrow. Indeed, at the risk of sounding patronizing, you should probably have that examined. He scratches his cheek. It's a shame that Lord Raedric's hanged half the Gilded Vale. The Valiant dwarf might have known something about your condition. No, if your character dies, then game over. You are like the main character. You have these special spirit powers which no one else has, or not many people have. But death is fairly difficult. It's usually like a party wipe that kills you. And the companions are just NPC companions. They have like stories and backstories that you can talk to and unfold through quests and the like, going forwards.
Hmm?
A morning star. Mice crawl through eye sockets and over femurs. Ooh, charming.
I shall.
Cave coral. Let's go into stealth mode because stealth is also searching. Nothing. Oh, no, there's something over there. Cave coral. Alright then. So we need to go and get Revengi on the murderer. Murderer. We still need to go and do this, so I think that is what we are going to do. And just a heads up, I will probably play for another half an hour, and then I'm going to stop. Huge RTD fan. What's RTD? Let's see if we managed. We still never found any rope. I know that there is some rope around somewhere. Just not entirely sure where. Or if you have to buy, you might have to buy it in town. I don't remember if you get kicked out of town or not. Is there a general store? The smithy? Let's have a look in the journal real quick. Smith's shipment. Travel to Black Meadow, okay. And Anslog's compass. Nonton. Speak to the innkeeper. Find the dwarf woman.
I'm here.
Let's go find the dwarf woman. I think we still have time. Is there another way over here? Ooh, there is. Oh, that's just going north. Never mind. Never mind. Let's go back to Gilded Vale. We'll need to rest this time. Roll to dodge. Ah, okay. I've been playing a lot of Critical Role. And what I was saying is Aloth, this character
Yes?
here, is voice acted by the DM from Critical Role, Matt Mercer.
Hmm?
As is Edda, who's the other companion that I've been trying to get. The guy who's standing here. And that's a really good series as well if you like D&D stuff. And one of the interesting things about this actually is, although it's the spiritual successor to Baldur's Gate, which is obviously a D&D game, they made their own combat system, which is kind of cool. Like, you'll notice that my characters are taking hits and yet the damage didn't last. That's because there's a difference between endurance and hit points. Basically, as you take endurance damage, you're also taking hit point damage, but only like 10% of the endurance that you take. And then your maximum endurance is your current hit point total. So you'll see here that Mordred's hit points is down slightly. So his endurance maximum should be... Sorry, his health maximum should be lower. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Health is 236. Well, it's something like that. I don't remember exactly how it works.
Of course.
But that way, you don't have to keep on using up healing spells after fights. They're rather kind of a during battle buff, and you do have some things that cure health. Okay, let's go speak to Pasca first of all.
Greetings.
Hello, and welcome to the... Oh, it's you! Tenfrith told us what you did for him. Such a relief to have him back. I can't thank you enough. Consider yourself a favourite of the house. Discounts on drinks, rooms. Tenfrith said he wanted to whip up something nice for you. He's already back at work in the kitchen. So, what would you like? I'd like to see what you got for sale. I'm sure you'll find something to your liking. We have the finest cook in Deerwood. Do you have some rope? No. More constitution and perception. Oh, interesting. Oh, hang on. Didn't mean to close that. Sorry.
Hail and well met.
See what we got for sale. More con. More endurance, might, and perception. That would be good for the mages. Max endurance and con. Max endurance and dex. That would also not be bad for the mages. It's not too expensive. Savory pie. Yes, it was savory pie that we wanted. I'll buy 6 of them, sure. I don't think there's any limit to what stuff you can carry, so we'll just buy both. What's milk? Max endurance and con. Jeez, max endurance. Well, I think you can get recipes and start cooking stuff for yourself eventually. Is there anything else here? Very tempted to stock up on camping supplies, but we do find some while just adventuring. Is there anything that we need to sell? Yes. I do wish that there was... Ah, here we go. Item type. There we go. This didn't used to exist. Now I can just get one of everything, so I have no duplicates. Beautiful.
I'm here.
Alright, let's go and talk to Tenfifth. Oh, I thought roll to dodge was YouTube. Sorry, I totally got that wrong. Health could well be 4 times endurance. But basically, endurance is on a per battle basis, while health is your overall health. Which does go down over time as you take more endurance damage. But like I said, that means that there's an interesting dichotomy between healing and that. As you, my saviour! So good to be back. Do not think I will let this go unrewarded. I have decided that you have earned the right to learn one of my most closely guarded secrets. My dearest recipe. After this, you will eat nothing else. Ooh, I got a savoury pie recipe, which is the one I wanted, because that's the one that gives me more might. A savoury pie to keep you hale and hearty. May it serve you well on your travels. How do I do that? Crafting? Aha! Ooh, there are potions. This is one thing I did not do much of. So, these are the things I can already cook. If I had the rest, or I had the materials. Then the ones that are like this, are the ones that I have materials for. So savoury pie is something that I did not previously have. It requires grain, and beer, and meat. Considering none of this stuff actually weighs anything, I'm really tempted to just buy a whole bunch of random junk and then cook it up.
Of course.
And who else was I going to talk to here? Right, the murderer. But first, Edda. And then the dwarf woman. We'll talk to the dwarf woman, because I have a feeling that's what makes Edda talk to you. Let's go find the dwarf woman. Oh, that is the dwarf woman. The squat, distended body of an elderly dwarf woman dangles from a thin, crooked bough that sags at the tug of a noose. The bloated purple flesh of her neck, worn away in patches like moth-eaten linen, bulges over the rope that suspends her, and her lifeless head lolls forward rigidly from one side to the other when the breeze shifts. You perceive a faint glow around her that casts no light on its surroundings, but there is a tepid warmth to it. You feel somehow that you could reach out and touch it, not with your hand, but with some aspect of yourself that has no worldly dimension. You take a deep breath, clearing your mind, focusing on your objective. As you exhale, you feel yourself spreading out towards the hanging woman, perceiving all that lies between you and her with new, unfamiliar awareness. Once you have expended enough to reach her, Sorry, once you have expanded enough to reach her, there is a sudden jolt to bring your mind, a ringing electric surge of images and words and sounds. Involuntarily, you shut your eyes and feel yourself being pulled down into some deeper consciousness in a space occupied only by you and the hanging woman. And when you open them again, she is staring at you with the eyes clouded in a milky fog, her body still swaying in the wind. You no longer feel from a tree that stands planted in a misty void. Oh, in the wind you no longer feel. The woman gives a slow nod of her head, the rope creaking as she does so, and she smiles at you.
Have you come here for me, dear? Or have you gotten lost? Ah, it is both, I think. Yes? Is that what we're doing? Perhaps it just seems that way. Perhaps it is the easiest way for your mind to make sense of it. I think it is a very good choice. No, I think not. A pity that. It would be simpler. A mercy even. To not have to wander anymore, no? Alas, we are here, you and I, wherever here may be.
She nods, a look of pity on her face as though consoling a child.
The world looks a little different than it used to, is that it? Feels like you're noticing things for the first time that have always been there. You have seen past the shroud. It only takes an instant. Your soul remembers, yes? Remembers how it sees when it leaves the body, like being reminded of a dream you had forgotten. You are a watcher now, and a watcher you will stay. Did you now, dear? My, that would be something, wouldn't it? Could be luck, could certainly be. A storm can be a careless thing. Or maybe it got its hands around your soul but couldn't pick it up. A soul can be heavy if it stayed in one piece through its time. Strong souls, we call them in the trade. Cold, I mean. Called them. Those days are all behind me, no? What indeed? Long hours have many animancers spent studying such things. Not I, though. Not I. I'll tell you what I know, though, since fair is fair, and here we are visiting, you and I, and it reminds me of better times. Souls pass on, some say through Audra stones, which are the blood veins of the world. They leave the world for a time and are reborn into it, sometimes more than they were before, but usually less and seldom the same. For all souls there is a time where they do not live, yet have not passed on, and those souls roam the world, same as you or I, either living or lost. But no one sees them because they have forgotten how. A watcher sees, though, knows what to look for. And sometimes they know a person just by looking at them, know where they've been in ages past when their bodies were other bodies. See memories even their owner can't recall. A wonder to behold when all goes well, a wonder! Oh, nothing to be afraid of, I'm sure. It's just much to take in for some. Sometimes there's trouble sleeping or other difficulties. You should see old Merwald. He could tell you much more than I. A watcher just like you. Helped many in his day. Took up in an old keep no one would claim. Not far, not far. Kadnua, beyond the Black Meadow. He will welcome the company. Oh, yes, entropy. Rimagan's work. We know little of why or how. We lose pieces of ourselves when we die and pick up pieces of others when we are born again, but less than what we lost. We tried to stop it with the animantic sciences, but with little success. No. A very small few resist Riiiiiitt's influence and stay together through some force of defiance, at least for a time. But they all succumb eventually, I think. Me? I'll bore you to tears, though. And here I thought you'd come to visit me in particular. Caldara de Baranzi, of the Valian Royal Academy of Animantic Sciences. Not the greatest of their number, but I came here all the same because this was where help was needed. Oh, come now, such a question, as though the answer were plain as a rope tied for strangling. Allow an old dwarf her last bit of cheer. Well, I came where I was needed, didn't I? Offered my services to Lord Radric for a pittance, a humble pittance. I was to examine the Lord's wife, see why the gods have seen fit to poison her womb. Studied her for months, looked high and low for impurities, tested her valence, the permeability of her essence. Do you know what I found? Nothing at all. A healthy woman, head to toe, blessed with a beautiful soul. Such a sweet woman, too. Meek, but warm-hearted. A few months' time, and the lord of the house demanded answers. For a time, I told him what he wanted to hear. Oh, yes, my lord, she is riddled with imbalances. I must have time to cure her. As the birth drew near, he grew impatient, as lords do. And this is where I've ended up. A student of the soul. Something so basic, yet so poorly understood. But so many breakthroughs have been made in my lifetime. Had been. To hear the locals tell it, we're a gang of soul manglers that preys upon the weak-minded. And the worst of us are. But the best of us? The best? Inspirations, miracle workers. My parents were soul twins, miserable before they met, empty inside. It was an animancer who helped one find the other, turned their lives around. You wouldn't believe the stories. Amnesiacs helped to remember their lives. The suicidal brought back from the brink of oblivion. The elderly afforded extra moments to say their goodbyes. How soon we forget when we're afraid. It's a fascinating science. A fascinating time to be alive in a place like Deerwood that does not control the research, no? I loved the Valian Republics for many things, but their recent caution will leave them behind, I fear. Goodbye, my dear. It was lovely visiting.
I was granted the Crucible of the Soul. Yay.
I'm here.
17 and a half.
Huh? The smell of pipe smoke, at once earthly and sweet, winds its way into your nostrils. Your eyes trace the smoke to its origin, where you find a broad man with straw-coloured hair leaning against a mossy rock wall, his pipe held to his lips with one meaty hand. He looks you directly in the eye, but the look is not aggressive. He regards you with a peculiar smirk.
17 and a half. Well, could be 18, depending on how you count the dwarf woman. The dwarf woman. You were trying to figure out whether to count her as a full person. I think you oughta. The people hanging from the tree. 18 of them. Well, last I counted, anyway.
Is that what you people do for fun around here? Oh, I wish these two were talking to each other. It's the same guy.
Name's Adair. Though to the people around here, might as well be 19. Don't think I'd put you much higher than 22, 23 tops. You look like the sort that likes to get involved. Well, I was smoking over here, saw you staring at her. Twice I refilled my pipe. You never so much as blinked. Your mouth was so slack I took you for a Radric at first. Careful, friend. Best not use that word round here. Could be any number of Radric bootlickers within earshot. Ciphers, animancers, watchers. Same thing in the eyes of folks around here, Radric especially. They come through these parts all the time with their cures, preying on the desperate. None of them are who they claim to be. Of course, seeing you with that funny look, I'd be halfway inclined to believe you were having some kind of communion with that dwarf. Either case, maybe I'm not 19 after all. No offense. The town's had it in for me for a long time now. Only fellow who ever stuck up for me, well, he's number 18 up there. My headman on the farm. Used to be my captain during the war.
Saints' War. Only been one in my lifetime. Fella decides he's the living incarnation of Eothas. Overthrows riiiiiight, marches on Deerwood. So we gave him a Deerwood and hello.
We blew him up.
And this is why I love Edda. God of Rebirth and Redemption. Formerly, anyhow. Maybe they call him something different where you're from. I got time. Why was the headman hanged? Got involved. Raedric sent men down here the other day. Said they had it in good authority that someone in town was working with Kolsk, plotting Raedric's overthrow. Said if he didn't come forward right then and there, they'd hang every last one of us. No one was coming forward, so Swithin, that's my headman, he steps up and says it's him. They took him at his word. Bound to happen sooner or later, if not for plotting against Raedric, then for protecting me.
Picked the wrong god. That's what it comes down to. Used to be a lot of Aethys worshippers in Gilded Vale. That mess of rocks over there, that was a temple to him, to give you some idea. Then one day, somebody named Icewind shows up on Deerwood's doorstep. Says he's the living flesh of Aethys. Got an army with him. Suddenly, Aethys isn't so popular in these parts. My brother Woden and me, neither of us believed it. No way was that Aethys. He enlisted, then I did too. But, he didn't make it back. After the war, people took to punishing Aethys worshippers, accusing them of treason. Got real ugly, especially after the legacy started. Folks needed someone to blame. I was safe because I fought, but then this rumor starts that my brother, that he was on the wrong side. And I wasn't so safe anymore. Until my headman stepped in and said they'd have to hang him to get to me. Seems that's no longer a concern. Of course, the townies don't do the hanging these days, but when Raedric's men come, they got no problem doing the pointing.
You can see why I was eager to leave. Someone who got tired of all the hangings. He's on the run now. Probably will be till they catch him. If you're next to be hanged, what are you doing still here? Drinking, mostly. Point of fact, I'm not on my way out. Just haven't figured out where I'm going yet. Not a whole lot of places when you don't think Waidwin's legacy started with Waidwin. Where are you headed? Some place called Cardnua. There's an old watcher there who might be able to help me.
Seem to remember hearing something about that years ago. He tamed that place. People would seek him out for all kinds of things. Troubles of the soul, questions for the departed. Of course, that was back when you didn't have to say watcher with a hush on your breath. A man such as that, there'd be things I'd want to ask him. Don't know why I never thought of it before. Not sure how I feel about setting out with a stranger, and a strange one at that. But, truth be told, you might be the only one in town who wouldn't feel some relief seeing me swing from that tree.
There's a fine reason, if I ever heard one.
All right, then. Guess I'll do some sightseeing. Long as you're not the one picking the sights.
let's get going then.
I'm
And
here.
we have a fighter. Marvellous. And I think that this is a fairly decent place
Hey.
to stop as well.
Yes?
Was there anything that I... Yes, actually
Yes?
no, we're not going to stop. Just yet. We're going to go back to the Bellwood. We're going to climb that rock. I think that was everything we needed to do, wasn't it? Just climbing the rock. So I'm hoping that
Hey.
Edda actually has some athletic skill. Yeah, he does.
I'm here.
So he can climb up. The rest of us I don't think need to. Alright, let's head to here. Thankfully it's not too far away. So you should
Hope
be
you're not
fine.
expecting much.
The crumbling wall is of considerable height. Even now its uneven surface promises a difficult climb. Who shall scale it? Edda finds a handhold with one of the large stones and starts to climb. Despite a few loose rocks and awkward angles, Edda makes swift progress and quickly arrives at the top of the wall. Once there, Edda helps you up and over the side.
Hey,
Cheers, dude. Ooh, gloves. +2 dexterity. Scrawled letter. We'll read that in a minute. In fact, we'll give that to you. We'll give that to you. And we'll grab
of course.
the rest. We'll grab that. And I think that is everything. How do we get down again? It's a good question. How do we get down again? There, we just click on there. From the edge of the wall, you can see the old cobblestone road turning south in the patchy trees of the Valewood. Climb down. You swing yourself over the side and pick your way down to ground level. Simples. Alright, let's have a look at this glove. +2 dexterity. I'm going to give that to myself so I can shoot stuff more quickly.
Hey,
Alright, marvellous. We'll head back to Gilded Vale and then I think we are done here. Because we already killed the bear. Yeah, pretty sure. No, we need to kill the murderers. Right, we've now been travelling for 8, 16, 24, 32, 40 hours, so we should definitely be fatigued now. Right. Apparently not. Unless you rest on the way, which is possible. Right, we need to go to Ingode's house and confront a murderer. That ST's horn. What horn? Did I get a horn? Oh, I want to check the letter. I did not think you'll ever see this, but you were right, Filavano. We should have journeyed south together and been safer for it. I would tolerate all the gloating in the world if I had to live to hear it. I put myself out of reach of the beast circling below, but I am done for all the same. I do not think I will rise again. Whoever finds this, pray for me. Perhaps in the next life, I will be a trapper of wolves. Alright, so the wolves killed him. Because there were wolves down there when we first arrived. You would not have seen that. What a horn. I think it was just the letter, right? Right, what was I going to do? Just going to check your gear, that was it. Saints War Armor. Good DR, fairly slow. Medium armor. Damage reduction, slightly enchanted. I'm going to guess it's better than anything I have. Can I check your... Yes, I can. What weapon skills do you have? Skills. Nope. Okay, I assume that you can use basically anything. So we're going to go inventory, we're going to go Edda, we're going to go into here. What are you currently using? You are currently using a saber. 15 to 22 slash. I have a feeling that's actually pretty good. Yep, pretty much. Alright, Saber can stay. Using a medium heater, which is the biggest shield that I have currently. So you are basically kitted out as well as can be expected, except you have no helmet. Let's give you the metal helmet and make you actually look like a fighter. And you are currently using a warbow, which is 15 to 24 piercing damage, versus the hunting bow, 12 to 18, crossbow, 21 to 31. Slow attack speed, average attack speed. I'm only expecting you to get a shot or two off, so I'd rather you did more damage with it. Because you're my frontline fighter, you're not going to be shooting very often.
Hey.
Alright, let's go in here. No, the only things that I got from there was, I think it was camping materials, which was like the tree type things. The letter, the gloves, that was the magical thing, was gloves. Armor, something like that. Right, let's have a word, shall we?
Hey.
Hail, traveller.
I know what really happened in the bear cave, Naunton. I don't know what you mean. I told you the truth of it. Are you accusing him of something? If it's about the accident, we're both grieving Pearlie's loss, but it was a wild animal's doing. What would make you suggest such a thing? I had a vision in the cave. Do I really want to tell him that it was a vision? Why did you do it? He was your friend. Naunton hesitates, and then you see his expression darkens. My friend? He was a cruel enough man to his friends. You didn't know him. You wouldn't defend him if you did. His hand falls to his sword belt. Naunton, wait! I don't know what you saw in that cave, but this isn't what you think. Pearlie, my husband. He was as much a beast as the bear. I tried to leave the first time I suffered his temper, but he wouldn't have it. Naunton, we met, and I knew he'd find someone special, someone kind, who cared for me. Please, all we want is to leave this place, to start somewhere else. We have some coin saved up. You could have it, if only you'll let us go. I'm not going to get bribed. I have no actual evidence for a magistrate. The benevolent thing would be to let them go, but the man is a murderer. She's innocent. He's not. If I could just kill him, I would. Choices, choices. What shall I do? I'm going to say I'm taking this to the magistrate and see what they say. Yeah. Okay, now he's attacking. I don't know what you think you'd tell the magistrate. A story about a dream you had? Ha! But you wouldn't take this from us. Not when we're so close, and not for that wretched Pearlie. In that case, screw you guys. Let's hit them with that, and let's hit them with... Oh, there's the soul thing. Crucible of the Soul, defended by Constitution, accuracy 41, once per rest. The Watcher unravels the vital essence of his or her enemies, gaining endurance in the process. 2 wizards, you're going to take so much damage. And these spells, the reason I keep using this spell is because I get it back every encounter. Yeah, the reason I'm actually playing this right now is because it's made by the same company as Tyranny, and I kind of felt bad that I hadn't finished this first. I'm going to finish this, and I'll probably go to Tyranny after that.
How may I help?
You guys are so nearly dead. I don't really see any point in... using up more of my magic. Adder actually heals over time. And there we go, victory is ours. Yeah, Pillars of Eternity was the... That's not necessarily true. It was the first isometric RPG that Obsidian did. They actually did Fallout 3... No, Fallout Las Vegas, New Vegas, whatever it's called. First. Under license from Bethesda, but this is the first independent game that they've done. Was Pillars of Eternity, and then The White March Part 1, Part 2, which are the expansions. And then, after that, they went and did Tyranny.
Hey.
Ooh, ring. Minor ring of deflection. That can go to that warrior. The rest, we'll just nick.
Hey.
Alright, let's loot this place.
The better part of valor.
Bottle of Sunred is half empty, so she wasn't lying about him being drunk. Let's save her. And the Deerwood Part 2. Broken Stone Moor. Which I may read at some point. Yes, you can have the deflection thing. So deflection is basically armor class. We want our tank to have as much armor class as possible so he can just sit there absorbing attacks and not dying. So yeah, New Vegas was made by the same company. Yeah, green screen still being kind of sorted out. If I get too close to the camera, that sometimes happens.
Hey.
The last time I recorded, that was a far bigger problem. Holes in the head from the green screen. It's when the light, which is up there, gets... Actually, yeah, it's when I get too close to that, not when I get too close to the camera. Anyway, I think I'm going to leave it at this point. This is a pretty good stopping off point before we basically go off and start the adventure proper.
Alright then.
Starting party. So thank you very much for watching, first of all. If you are enjoying this, then please do hit that follow button. Get this Twitch channel up a bit. And if you haven't done so already, then I also, or if you didn't know already I should say, I also run a YouTube channel, which you can find at youtube.com/Mordred Viking. And I do mostly strategy games there. I'm doing something a little bit different here, which is the RPG, though I did do a lot of Mount & Blade, so I do some RPGs. I hope to catch you next time. I'll probably, in fact, I will definitely be streaming again tomorrow evening for a longer session. That will be from 7 PM Greenwich Mean Time until probably about midnight. So that is, let's see if I get this right, 8 PM Central European, 2 PM Eastern Standard, and 11 AM Pacific Standard until whatever 5 hours later is. Yeah, self-plug indeed. Has to be done. Anyway, thanks again for watching, guys, and I will catch you next time. Bye!